Normally, he sends shivers down the spines of Hollywood activists, but apparently in the AAA gaming space, the critical drinker, alongside Asmongold and other online critics, are really in the craw of ideological developers. Kingdom Come Deliverance series director claims AAA studios are really terrified of internet critics like Asmongold and the critical drinker. A strange one to point out because, yeah, he talks games. It's just, I don't really agree with a lot of his gaming critiques. I like his movie critiques, but, you know, he had a really flumpy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth review that, I don't know how you summarize a game that's like over 100 hours in like 10 minutes and you get the ending so wrong as he did. But anyways, I like him. I think he's a good dude. When somebody starts to critique the game and the corporate world, it does have an impact where, yeah, okay, you could go ahead and extrapolate that out further because Asmongold, I guess, he does a little bit more, but yeah, he's definitely focused a lot more on the gaming space, but he kind of branches out to talk about more cultural problems, and I would say the popularity of these two, right? I would say they're biggest in their respective spheres. And realistically, both guys give credit where credit is due on projects that deserve it. But when things are bad, okay, like Asmongold was right at the forefront of exposing just how buggy and broken Star Wars Outlaws was and how Dragon Age the Veilguard looks like a total pile of crap. But even if Asmongold doesn't point that out, or if Critical Drinker doesn't say how bad Captain Marvel was all the way back in the cut, or following up on all of the Star Wars crap, or just any other Marvel schlock that comes out, does that really make it any worse? Or are these studios, right, in Hollywood and in gaming so hubristic in thinking that their audience is so low IQ that they could just get away with producing the slop, and if it wasn't for all of these dastardly online reviewers, they could just get away with crap? That's very interesting, okay? Let's take a look here. According to Kingdom Come Deliverance duology director Dan Vávra, contrary to what the overall industry would like the public to believe, the criticism leveled against both the video game industry and the current output by such online critics as Asmongold or the Critical Drinker are having a definite impact on multiple AAA developers. Well, you would like to think so, but I mean, look at the stuff that has come out and is slated to come out this year, and bro, might be having an impact, but it's not really making too many changes in the interim, okay? Industry veteran who served as a lead writer for the first two Mafia games, the good ones, okay, before going on to co-found Warhorse Studios and create the aforementioned Czech history-centric action RPG series. Yeah, the first one, very well received, and Kingdom Come Deliverance is rocketing up the sales charts and is set to drop in the first week of February. Looks good. It actually looks really good. It's hosted by independent gave a long-form interview to, hosted the Independent Czech Network in April of last year. Okay. Flying under the radar in English-speaking circles due to the fact that, it took place entirely in Czech. A video of his appearance was recently shared on the Asmongold Reddit community, where it was subsequently picked up by Asmongold and shared during one of his live streams, just like with recently, and I got a video on it that'll come out, and it'll come out when it comes out, but how the big cancellation attempt, or at least there was a big push to cancel Valve and Gabe Newell and Steam over the fact that they aren't diverse enough. It's like, wow, you got the biggest PC online store, the driver in the industry, and something that runs generally pretty well and has an exceptional amount of goodwill from its users. They need to cancel him because he doesn't have enough diversity hires. Yeah, interesting. A big shock why, your campaign didn't work that much in 2023, but Asmongold, within the past couple of weeks, ran back an old Twitter thread or an old video that got produced around that time. So yeah, he can drag things back up into the discourse if he's so inclined to. Per translation of the interview provided by Reddit user Parazak, following a discussion about the long-awaited and soon to release Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Vávra told his host, listen, I've even heard that they're, the big developers and companies, really scared of hate tubers. Okay, I guess that's what they call it, people who just accurately assess the product that is put before them. Okay, let's say kind of guys like the Critical Drinker, Asmongold, and others who started criticizing big companies. Okay, I thought it was so niche, he explained. He's Asmongold, he's got a few million followers, his videos have some impact, but it's definitely not what everybody is watching. And now I found out that some people, that companies are really terrified of them. Yep, because they are that thin-skinned. And it's really having an impact that when somebody starts to critique the game and the corporate world, that it does have an impact. Turning to offer his own critiques of the industry, Vávra then asserted, and it's understandable how these corporations do it, considering that they've now made games that nobody wanted. And they even said it. Wow, this went in April of last year. Like, what had already released by that point in time? Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, ended up failing. Concord was still on the horizon, so was Dustborn. Star Wars Outlaws, geez, actually like a lion's share of the crap had yet to release, and he was already out there going ham on the industry. Good for him, considering that they've now made games that nobody wanted, and they even said it when those gamers started complaining that they didn't like it and they didn't want that kind of game. The developers started telling them that they're stupid and that it wasn't a game for them, which is completely bizarre, that you're insulting your own customers. Oh my god, and that's why the first Kingdom Come Deliverance was so well received and ended up spurning. Like, that was a passion project that was made by the young startup studio Warhorse, and because it did so well, you ended up getting this a much bigger budget sequel that looks to be fantastic by everything that I've seen about it. Offering his thoughts on the interview, Asmongold proceeded to let out his inner Spooderman, and admit that he feels a duty to use his apparent influence responsibly. Oh wow, I view this as a responsibility. I try to be as fair and critical as I can and be authentic. Now, sometimes it rubs people the wrong way. That's one thing because there are several other people that are out there, right? Like, you got stupid ass Charlie Moist Critical, who after Sneeko pressed them just a little bit about trans kids, he had a spurg out about that one. But Moist Critical is the hot takes, what McDonald's is the fine dining. He's a fucking dork. Can't stand him. But he's the type of guy who would be like, oh, I want to rock the boat. Okay, I just want to keep it positive over here. Or or just, somebody in the same vein as Critical Drinker. You got Chris Stuckman, who makes an entire video about wanting to keep everything positive when it comes to praising film on his channel, but then makes an entire video about Madam Web and how he doesn't want to talk about it. It's like, do you know what you're implying with that, you fucking dork? No? Oh, okay. No, Drinker does the same thing more consistently when it comes to TV and Hollywood, which I would say, especially when it comes to people working behind the scenes, like the people working on television products and productions rather, there's a lot of crossover when it comes to tactics between those productions and gaming. Like, we're seeing a lot of people, super fans get flown out for early screenings of seasons of television, the same thing that we've been seeing for a long time in gaming. There's a lot of crossover that's right there. And you can also see a precipitous downturn in quality in recent years in both fronts, but I digress. People don't like what my opinions are. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say to begin with. Well, you can go ahead and look at the likes of Moist Critical and go, oh, yeah, cool, he's got a big platform and doesn't really say anything all that informative. He's very milquetoast, like Tim Pool when it comes to politics. That's something you can't criticize Asmongold of being. He's going to let you know what his position is. You might not like it, but he's at least going to take a side on something. And that's why, hey, man, when it comes to one of the loud voices, one of the big influencers that are out there, I don't mind Asmongold, because he's going to let you know where he stands on a topic. That's fine, but at the end of the day, I do my best to be as authentic as possible. So so if you bring out a shitty game, there will be a YouTube video about it. Good for him, man. And of course, if there's a good game that's out there, I seen him talking about Marvel Rivals, and then he fired up a stream and played the game for like 2.5 hours. So he will also put good games on a pedestal that is befitting their station. And really, that's all a consumer can really ask of their internet personality, like Asmongold. Yeah, exactly. Be honest, man. Just be honest. After all, after decades of mainstream gaming publications acting as mouthpieces for the multi-billion-dollar publishers and publishing article after article on why latest live service slop is actually great, and you're a bigot for not liking it, players just want to have someone on their side and giving a voice to their concerns. Because if you think Hollywood is nepotistic when it comes to access media, video games industry, oh my, it is so pathetic. You got somebody who starts off working as a staff writer at GameSpot or IGN, and eventually you'll see them down the line backstab people and climb the ladder to only, hey, look I just got hired by BioWare. I just got hired at Naughty Dog. I'm going to be a consultant at Santa Monica Studios, Alana Pierce. The people that are supposed to be critical of the industry not being all that critical in order to keep all of their doors open. It is so sick. And then when people, like, this is going a long time back, just going to show you how corrupt this industry has been for a minute, Jeff Gerstmann writing a bad review for Kane and Lynch after they bought how many millions of dollars of ad space? I think it was on GameSpot, and he ended up getting fired. I guess a rotten industry to its very core. And so that's why they are so big mad about this, and the people that are producing and developing this slop are so mad at the independent voices that are out there who just want to play good games, and when there's shit that comes out and then they point it out, it's like, why are you doing that stuff? Because normally the media is just out there to hype this up, okay, to just give it a 7 if it's bad, and then just to tell you that it's various shades of good, give you just boilerplate answers. What are you doing? Stop it. That's hurting me. To be fair, yeah, it's almost impossible to know how far-reaching Vávra's insight into the industry is, and how many studios really are keeping their ears to the ground when it comes to online backlash, as he understandably declined to name any specifics regarding who, where, and how he learned this information. Well, I'll tell you, and I showed you guys before, I even, when I was doing and going real heavy on the Dragon Age the Veilguard stuff, like, I got reached out by an indie developer on that one, just letting you know that there's, like, these companies, okay, even the indie ones, just trying to get their name out there, or the big studios, they're paying attention because, you seen all the pushback. Here's a perfect example. You seen the pushback on Assassin's Creed Shadows, and now we're on the second delay on that one. If it wasn't for people voicing their opposition, if it wasn't for the likes of Asmongold properly holding these companies to task, that sludge pipe would be open. You would have your legacy outlets, you would have your Kotaku, you would have your IGN out there saying, no, it's great, it's fantastic, diversity is our strength, and you're a bigot if you don't allow it. If there was no opposition that was out there, if there was nobody keeping it 100, Ubisoft wouldn't be on the brink of collapse. BioWare wouldn't be one more release away from shutting their doors. The slot mines and the sludge pipe would be cracked wide open. But no, there's hope for this industry. There's hope for Hollywood. There's hope for entertainment in general. And it all comes from people voicing their opposition. So that's why, in general, the short term, it's going to suck. There's still going to be a lot of shit that's coming out. But in the long term, there will be a course correction that's going to happen. Is it going to come from the big studios? I don't know what they're going to look like in a few years' time. But their successors, if they're wise, if they're smart, they're going to know that the customer might not always be right. And they got a couple of good ideas, and you should pay them a little bit of mind and listen to them. Because when it's all said and done, they're the ones that pay your bills, not the access media. They're going to write glowing reviews until it's fashionable to bite you in the ass. Take a look at all the Veilguard coverage after the game came out and flopped. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.